Hello everyone, it's Sandra here. We just found a slug climbing on the plastic, and so Landon smushed it in here. I will spare you the visual. I don't have any problem feeding it to the worms. They're little carnivores when they get a chance. So obviously this is Eat My Shorts, and I've given leaves in the past, or leaf mold, because that's where the slug would have come from. We don't actually find a lot of slugs in the leaf mold, but I tell you, the one thing I do find in material that has been exposed to our leaf mold is a lot of those little pill bugs or sow bugs, what other people call them, roly-polies. And Eat My Shorts seems to have a really good population of roly-polies. At the moment, I am okay with it. But if I start seeing more roly-polies than I do worms, then they are moving outside. All right, so it's been a bit since I've shown you in here. Eat My Shorts has been fed in this end, and this end I am gently massaging it to a point that I will be able to reduce some of the castings load in it. You can still see lots of shredded cardboard in here. Today, I'm going to be giving this bin some more leaf mold bedding, and actually I'm going to mix some up in this end as well as in the feeding zone here again. And by doing that, I'm hoping I will further inoculate this end that I'm over the next month or so trying to finish up. And by doing that, it will speed that up and actually condition the castings, I hope, as well. So let's start at this end. You can see why I am maturing this to finish. The castings in here are lovely, and I even considered sifting it. If you can just see, you know, I'm just able to use my fingers and sift it down. It's a beautiful moisture level. It is not dry by any means, but it would definitely go through my 1/3 of an inch sifter, no problem at all. Still has some worms in it. So, you know, I'm not even, I'm throwing them over there, but I am not trying to migrate the worms at this juncture. This is very premature to think about pulling this material out with all this cardboard still in here. But, you know, over the next few weeks, what I will do is I will exclusively feed over in this end, and that will create somewhat of a disincentive for the worms to stay in this material. But while there is cardboard here, and as you heard, I'm going to be working some leaf mold in here, the worms are going to continue to come in here. I'm going back here because I think I just saw a bit of the cotton still left over from the Eat My Shorts, where this bin got its name. All right, so I'm just turning over this middle section. So this bin has had pumpkin already. It had its Halloween giant apple that it had to finish off. So we're going to be checking in on that feeding zone to see whether there's no sense of that feeding left at all. And if that is the case, then we will be giving this bin more pumpkin. Now, this is the pumpkin that I have pureed and then frozen and now thoroughly defrosted. It's almost pure liquid. It's like a pumpkin milkshake or a pumpkin smoothie for these worms. And so a lot of moisture going to be coming in this bin, which is why I'm going to be adding some nice leaf mold bedding as well as the pumpkin. All right, so that is my gentle migration end. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this paper back in the bin so that I then turn over the zone that I fed last onto this paper. And by doing that, all of the larger material that's still in that feeding zone will collect on this paper, and I can easily just return it to the feeding zone when I am finished. So that's where I'll put Mr. Slug. these paper towels, every time I've been moving pumpkin around my house, I've had to have paper towels with me because it is such a sticky, sticky mess. All right, and then these are the bits of the Eat My Shorts that I collected from the, I'll call it the migration end. That's a fair name for it. And now you can see the waistband peeking out of the shorts material. I can actually feel with my fingers and hear that this end here is much more moist than the end I was just in. So the feeding zone is definitely going to get more moisture, especially if I continue to feed pumpkin after this week. And we certainly have a ton of pumpkins. If you've seen my picture on the community tab, you can see how many pumpkins were donated to my worms this year. All right. I see lots of black castings. I don't see any food left in this end. I don't even see a lot of worms hanging around anymore. No wonder they were in the other end. I guess there's some cardboard here that the worms are in that a little bit. So I guess what I'll do is put this larger bit of cardboard up on here, put this on here, lead off with that waistband that we want it to be just pure elastic by the time I pull that out. I'm going to save those bits of paper towel for the very top. And so right now I'm going to start with a skim coat of my leaf mold. So just a moment. This leaf mold is now approaching, well, it's definitely 13 months old. You can see that it's hard to distinguish it from castings. I just picked up a little bit that I dropped. So that is some leaf mold right down there. And then this pumpkin. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You'll see the problem as soon as I bring this bowl down here. It is pure liquid. This is defrosted, pureed pumpkin. And like I said, is it pumpkin pudding, pumpkin smoothie? There's a lot of pumpkin juice here. Obviously, I'm not going to give all this to these worms, but even putting my hands in this is going to be a sticky mess. So just hang on just a moment. All right, I've got a yogurt container. Water buffalo yogurt, by the way. If you live on Vancouver Island, water buffalo yogurt, delicious. Anyway, so let me just scoop out some of this. There we go. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Try not to splash the pumpkin. I'm going to take the extremely moist stuff for my by the book bin. I'm trying to get the more solid stuff into this bin. There we go. A little bit more. These pumpkins, these worms are more numerous than in the by the book bin by quite a margin. So trying to get out most of the chunky material in there. Perfect. Didn't make a mess of that. So now I just have to lift the bowl out again. Just hold on. Now that I've got that out, so I'll just put the remainder of this chunk material back on this zone. So I just invert this piece of grocery bag. The large elements go back down there, including these two large paper towels. Well, that was our slug. Here's the paper towel over the feeding zone. Actually, this paper towel is infused with pumpkin juice, so it's not saving me from fungus gnats if that paper towel is exposed to the outside air either. So now I'm going to shake this off, remove it, and cover this entire bin with a layer of this nice semi-processed leaf mold. This leaf mold has worms in it, as well as just the incredible nourishment for the worms that are in here. So we did not put any worms in our leaf mold, but these worms came along, found their way into the bag, and multiplied. So they are throughout here. So I'm going to be trying to use leaf mold as my bedding. You see there's still identifiable leaves in here just because we didn't shred last year. So I'm going to be using leaf mold as my bedding of choice for my worm bins until I run out. And we've made even more this year. So I hope by this time next year, I will never run out of leaf mold bedding for my worms. So I'm just going to work the microbes of these leaves a little bit into this migration end that I'm doing. And this bin is looking fabulous. Do not be afraid of using leaf mold in your house. Yes, I had to find a slug on the surface and move him out of the bin, or Landon smushed him like I said. But, you know, the odd slug is not a reason not to do that. They don't leave the bin. So it's a pest and we don't want it, but they stay in the bin. And as long as they stay in the bin, you can catch them, take them outside, do whatever you want with them. But far better than being afraid to use leaves inside because of any critters that may come along for the ride. All right, everyone, take care. Bye from Eat My Shorts.